Right now, they're all anxiously awaiting their chance to vote. Some people tell me they've been in line here about an hour and a half. Since I got here at 6 o'clock, the polls have been moving very, very quickly. And now there's only about a dozen people left. These are going to be the last people to vote here in Lexington County at this voter registration building. People tell me they are excited for a chance to show what they want in the next president and have their voice heard. Many people tell me they've been bringing their kids out here just so their kids can see how important this election is. Now, 7 other locations that I went to today had no line at all. People tell me a lot of people have voted early or voted absentee, which could have reduced the amount of lines people had today. Live in Lexington County, Brittany Breeding, Watch Fox News, Local First.
All right, Brittany, thank you. And again, we will be checking back in with Brittany throughout the night.
Now, we have also have some breaking news here on the election nationally, not here in South Carolina, but we just learned that the Associated Press has called the race in Kentucky, Donald Trump winning Kentucky. That's what we just learned.
Yeah, and we do know that polls in Kentucky closed about an hour ago at 6 o'clock.
And we are following closely the congressional races in the Palmetto State, starting with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham and his Democratic challenger Jamie Harrison. Now, right now, those numbers are at 0, but we will bring you the latest as soon as we have them. And in just about 30 minutes, we'll have an exclusive live interview with Dr. Bill Bledsoe, the third-party candidate who is no longer running for Senate, but is still at the center of many political ads from both campaigns. And moving over to Democratic Joe Cunningham, who currently holds a seat for U.S. Representative in the 1st Congressional District. He won the race back in 2018, flipping a red district, taking over then-Governor Mark Sanford. Now, his Republican challenger is Nancy Mace. She was endorsed by President Trump, Vice President Mike Pence, and former state Governor Nikki Haley. And finally, the fight for the 5th Congressional District between former Gamecocks receiver Mo Brown and incumbent Congressman Ralph Norman. We'll bring you the latest numbers as it come in. Samantha Bryan, back to you.
All right, Suji, thank you. And while we're bringing you the most up-to-date information on air and both online for local races, we'll also be tracking the presidential race.
Yeah, take a look at a map now, what we'll be looking at throughout the night if we could as votes come in across the country. We're going to let you know how it all stacks up between President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden as the votes come in, as the states are called for each candidate. We're going to look at the Electoral College votes, of course. And the key here, the winner needs 270 votes to declare victory.
Yeah.
All right, all of the attention, the anticipation and anxiety about election night. Most of us, of course, wanting results right away. We may not get them all as quickly as we'd like, and this is why. You look at some of these key swing states, and some of them are going to take days, possibly, in worst-case scenario, weeks to count everything up. So let's just give you a few examples of what we'll be watching. Georgia, for example, this is a state where they believe they'll have everything done in a couple of days, but they're expecting up to 6 million votes. That's going to blow away the previous record of 4+ million that they had from 4 years ago. They've also got tight Senate races there. North Carolina, they have an extra 9 days, the Supreme Court ruled, if necessary, to receive and count mail-in ballots. You look at a place like Ohio, they have up until the 13th to receive ballots. How about the Rust Belt? So much attention paid to this area. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, these 3 states, all of them decided by less than 1% in 2016. Pennsylvania gets an extra 3 days to receive ballots. Michigan and Wisconsin, for the most part, didn't start counting those early mailed-in ballots until today. And then you look at a place like Iowa, for example, where right now the polling's really tight, 47 to 46 on average for President Trump over Joe Biden, and they have until Monday to receive ballots. So a lot of nail-biters going on. Patience will be key. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Scott. And you can keep up with our reporters and Watch Fox all night on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well, and on the Watch Fox News app.
Now, if you did cast your vote today, we want to see those voting stickers, the I voted stickers. Now, head over to our website. This is how you do it, WACH.com. You go to the Chime In tab, and that is where you submit your photos, and you can see some people have done that. Jeffrey Lampkin, one of our former contributors on the Good Day Columbia program, is there. Put his photo in on the Chime In tab, where you may also see your photo on air throughout our coverage as we go throughout the night here. Now, for those of you just tuning in now, we are bringing you this special live stream of our Watch Fox News election coverage, team coverage throughout the day, throughout the night. We're going to be here until 9 o'clock. And we're going to check in with Shante Sumter. She has been at Spring Valley High School, the precinct there, throughout the day. Actually, we're going to go to Brittany Breeding first. She's in Lexington County, where there are still some people in line at this hour.
Hey, Brian. Yes, we are at the Lexington County Voter Registration Building, and there are 11 people in line right now. If you take a walk with me, we're just going to go down the line real quickly. This line has been here since probably early afternoon. I've been here since about 6:30, and people tell me they've been waiting in line for about an hour and a half. Now, just a few minutes ago, when polls closed, a man came up a little after 7 o'clock, and he was actually turned away because he did not make it here at 7 o'clock when those polls closed. Everybody here tells me they are very excited to cast their ballots, to make their voice heard. One person tells me that they originally went to a different polling location because they were actually supposed to go there. Once they got there, they were told they weren't on the list, so they had to come here. And now he is about to cast his ballot. He is currently second in line right now. We grabbed an interview with him earlier. You're going to hear more from him in our 10 o'clock newscast. And this line is continually moving. We are expecting this to be over within the next hour here or so, maybe even faster. Live in Lexington County, Brittany Breeding, Watch Fox News, Local First.
All right, Brittany, thank you. And tonight, longtime Representative Joe Wilson is facing Democratic challenger Adair Burrows in the race to represent District 2.
Yeah, Shay Simon spoke with Adair Burrows at North Springs Park today. That's a precinct in Richland County after a day of campaigning. And what'd she find out there? We're going to take a look here.
Samantha and Brian, Adair Burrows tells me she is feeling hopeful tonight as she faces off against longtime Republican Representative Joe Wilson in that seat for the 2nd District in Congress. Now, she says this is her last stop here in North Springs Park in Columbia after a long day stopping at polling sites across the Midlands. She says she made stops in Aiken and her hometown of Wilmington earlier. Burrows is a former Justice Department attorney who is running on her promise of only serving 3 terms if she's elected. She says it's time for change.
Yeah, I think that in a lot of ways that it's time for my generation. I mean, I'm 40. I'm not a kid, and it is time for my generation to really start stepping up. And we're going to see that across the state today in a lot of ways, I think.
And Burrows says because of the pandemic, she won't be holding any watch parties tonight. She plans to do it old school style at home with her family, waiting for those results to come in. In Columbia, Shay Simon, Watch Fox News, Local First.
Now, there have been some watch parties that have started across the region, including where Congressman Joe Wilson is tracking the results against Adair Burrows.
Our Chloe Carlson joins us from the USC Alumni Center, where the Wilson Watch Party is taking place right now.
Samantha, people are trickling in, and among them, Wilson's son, Attorney General Alan Wilson. Now, going into tonight, Alan Wilson says people may have criticized his father for not being at enough events, but he says Joe Wilson has covered every square inch of the 2nd Congressional District, passionate about the military, and it shows in his dedication to Fort Jackson and his proposal for the Parris Island Protection Act.
I have no doubt that he's going to be reelected. I was at the polling place today. I mean, we have a very strong precinct for him, and the line was wrapped around the corner, and people were telling me, hey, I voted for your dad. Heard that 100 times today, and so I'm very confident.
Coming up a little bit later, we will talk to Joe Wilson and his plans if reelected. In Columbia, Chloe Carlson, Watch Fox News, Local First.
All right, we do have some more breaking information in the race for president as well. Another state has been called, the state of Vermont, called by the Associated Press in favor of Joe Biden.
And all night online and on air, we will be bringing you the latest election results. Right now, our Suji Nam will be here tracking some of the biggest races in the state. Suji, what do you have for us?
Samantha, well, we wanted to see what you had to say about Election Day and tonight's results, so we asked some questions. One of them, why was it important for you to vote? And Tracy Henderson actually responded and said, she wrote, quote, "It is your American duty to vote. Nothing you say matters if you don't vote." We'd like to hear from you. Make sure to send us your responses, and don't forget the hashtag WatchFox2020 on Twitter. You can also head on over to our Facebook page, find those posts with our questions, and comment below. Samantha, Brian, back to you.
All right, we're going to thank you, Suji. We're going to take a look now at an interview that was done by our friend Clairvaux a little earlier today. He talked to a number of political analysts leading up to today, talked to a Republican and Democratic strategist. We're going to go now to his interview with Democratic strategist Antoine Seawright.
Joining us now is Democratic strategist Antoine Seawright with Blueprint Strategy. Hello, Antoine.
Hey, Friendy, how are you? Happy Election Day.
Oh, I tell you, it's definitely a busy day so far. You know, polls opened at 7 this morning. They're going to close tonight at 7. We're going to get straight to it, Antoine. Plenty to cover here. One of the most watched races across the nation is the Graham and Harrison race here. Polls and experts say they are neck and neck. What can we expect?
Well, you know, Friendy, it's funny how we say this is the most watched race around the country because it did not start out this way. In fact, in February, Jamie Harrison was down 17, 19 points. But it's a true lesson about life and politics that when people count you out, you teach them that they do not know how to count. That's the story of James Harrison's life. That's the story of his career. And I think that will be the story of this particular election. What I am looking for is the record number of people who have voted early, the number of people who we will know very, very soon has split their ticket, and the number of people who have voted straight party ticket. I think that's so important. In a place like South Carolina, where Jamie Harrison clearly has momentum on his side, you're going to see a record number of people split their ticket for the very first time in some cases. And I think that could make the difference in what the outcome will be in tonight's results.
You talked about splitting the vote. Do you believe that for some individuals who have voted red will cross over and vote blue?
I do. I mean, you've seen the commercials I've seen. You've seen some of the digital ads I've seen. You've heard the radio ads. There are Republicans and independent thinkers and now former Republicans who clearly think that Jamie Harrison should be the next U.S. Senator from South Carolina. And I don't think this is an election about right versus left. I think this ultimately came down to be an election where it shapes up right versus wrong.
All right, one of the final questions here. Senator Graham was very vocal about now Justice Amy Coney Barrett making sure that, in his words, fill the seat. At this hour, do you believe that that will help his base, or do you think that some people will say, no, we're going to vote for Jamie because of what he did?
I think it's going to cut both ways. Look, I think there will be people who are looking for a reason to say, you know what, I have to support the party over the person. In terms of the Republican line of thinking, I think those people will go home to be Republicans as they once were. But I also think this will galvanize and energize a group of people on the other side, because we all know what happened with President Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland, and how he did not even get a hearing. We all heard what Lindsey Graham said after that and during that time period about what he would do if a Supreme Court justice became available. And so the hypocrisy we've seen from Lindsey Graham and his behavior is going to energize some, but it's going to fuel some on his side.
All right, Antoine Seawright, Democratic strategist with Blueprint Strategy. Thank you, Mr. Seawright.
Thank you, Friendy.
All right, we are continuing our coverage here on Watch Fox News, extended political coverage of this historic election day here. The polls are officially closed here in South Carolina. Closed at 7 o'clock, but of course, if voters were in line before 7, they still do have the chance to cast their ballot. And we're seeing some people still in line at this hour. Not excessively long lines, but still some people in line.
Yeah, that's right. And now our friend Clairvaux is live at Lindsey Graham's campaign right now. We're checking in with him there now.
Well, apparently we're having a problem there with that live signal from where Friendy is. Lindsey Graham's campaign is in downtown Columbia. We're going to go to our Suji Nam. She is in the studio. She's tracking a number of races here, and she's been standing by. Suji, give us a little insight on what we're doing here.
Yeah, definitely. We've been following a lot of significant congressional races here in South Carolina, some of them with Senator Lindsey Graham, Jamie Harrison, Mo Brown, Republican Representative Ralph Norman. So we've been following a lot of these very highly contested congressional races, and we'll also be speaking with Dr. Bill Bledsoe later on today, just a very exclusive interview about his recent attacks in all these political ads between the Senate race. So we'll have that for you shortly, coming right up. Samantha, Brian, back to you.
All right,
Suji,
thank you very much. Of course, looking forward to all that throughout the night, hearing from Dr. Bill Bledsoe. For those of you just joining us right now here on Watch Fox News, we are continuing our extended coverage here of Election Day 2020. There are some breaking developments coming in the race for president. The state of Vermont has been called by the Associated Press in favor of Joe Biden. The state of Kentucky called in favor of President Donald Trump. Still very early results here, but some of the latest information now coming in.
That's right, and we have all of our reporters across the Midlands at different polling locations. Be sure to keep you updated throughout the night.
Do we have any of our reporters standing by at this point? Okay, we're going to go to Friendy Clairvaux right now. He is live with the Lindsey Graham campaign. They're in downtown Columbia. Of course, Lindsey Graham, the incumbent Republican, facing off against Democratic challenger Jamie Harrison, very well-funded candidate, has pumped a lot of money into this campaign. Friendy, what's the latest?
Well, Samantha and Brian, I can tell you right now that a number of people are already inside behind me here at the USC Alumni Center for that watch party that began at about 7 o'clock tonight. I did get a chance to see someone going in, South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson. Now, I did ask him a few questions, and he talked about why he believes that Senator Lindsey Graham is going to win tonight. He said that Senator Graham did get a lot of enemies during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, and that's why he believes millions of dollars was funneled into the Senate race, hoping to unseat Graham. But Attorney General Alan Wilson says he doesn't believe that's going to happen. He went on to say that Senator Graham has been a good steward for South Carolina and that he's been a good chairman of the Judicial Committee. And they are here tonight saying that they believe that he'll get reelected to another term and will represent South Carolina the best way that he can. Reporting live in downtown Columbia, Friendy Clairvaux, Watch Fox News, local first.
All right, Friendy, thank you.
All right, we're going to... All right, thank you. Friendy, well, of course, will be there throughout the evening, tracking the campaign there from the Graham component. So, where are we going right now? Do we have one of our other reporters standing by right now? Okay, what we're going to do right now is we're going to go to break for a moment here. Of course, you're watching us here online and on air at WACH.com. We're going to step aside for a moment, be right back, hopefully with some updated information as the polls have now closed officially in South Carolina.